Well, Matty, after last week, important clearly to bounce back.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So obviously, 8-game season, so you can't be too slow out of the blocks. But yeah, we had a bit of a look at last week's performance, and clearly not quite where we want it to be, but perhaps in the second half we sort of saw the footy we wanted to play. Probably didn't play the conditions particularly well, so but it looks like it's going to be a nice day, 27, so get along.
What's the major, flag I'm feeling as well, which is good. What's the major area you're looking to improve that you can take out of last week? Yeah, well, last week our skill fundamental, our ground ball take was not at the level that we really expected to be. A little bit of that was around the conditions and a little bit around Brisbane's pressure, which was really good. So that's probably the starting point of our game, and probably our tackle pressure was probably a little bit below where we expected to be also. So a couple of fundamentals of the game.
You mentioned after the game you were second to the ball at times. Is there a message that you've sort of said to the girls that's different this week to change their mindset, or?
No, we trained, obviously we rolled into the game. After about probably 5-6 minutes of the game, I thought our intensity was back at the level, but that proved to be pretty costly because they kicked a couple in that first period. So in terms of the week, it's pretty normal. We had an 8-day break, so we were able to get 2 really good training sessions in. They were done at a really good intensity, and so enter this game with good confidence that we were well prepared.
Mate, you spoke of the slow start. Obviously, a short season, top 2 from each conference.
3 now.
Top 3, sorry,
yeah.
3. But obviously the St Kilda this week, I lost to Brisbane last week. Is it already a must-win?
That's it's the beauty of the AFLW is that every game is critical. There's no rolling in and hoping you can sneak into the finals. No, you got to be up and about right from the get-go. We lost our first game last year, and that meant that every week we were on edge. Similar scenario now.
How tough with so many injuries to key players? What's the mentality of you?
Yeah, I mean ultimately the injuries are part of the situation, but the reality is we had plenty of talent on the park. We had enough talent to win a game of football last week. We didn't do it, so it's really not about the ones that aren't playing, it's about the ones that are. So we've got great confidence in the players that are going to roll out on Sunday, and we'll give our best effort, and I'm very confident that we can get a win if we play well.
Because the bookies have still got you guys as flag favourites.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to bet on the footy, unfortunately, otherwise I'd load up.
with so many injuries, and how does that sit with you running Premier obviously, and still flag favourites with so many girls? How does that sit with you?
Well, it's irrelevant really. It's interesting, but ultimately it's not particularly relevant. And each week presents its own challenge, and this game is going to be a great opportunity for us to get going. And as I said, I thought even though we got beaten on the weekend, I thought the second half in particular we played at the level that we need to play, and we've just got to make sure we do that for 4 quarters.
You've got the talent still to win it?
We've got talent to win this weekend, and we'll go from there, I reckon.
That's the way you're looking at it?
Pretty much, yeah.
How far away was Erin?
Yeah, no, she's working back in. As I said last week and probably the week before and the week before that, ultimately it'll sit with the medicos. So she's got a program which she's working to. There's certain things she has to be able to achieve before the medical team will consider to play a game. Once those things are done, then she'll be available. So it's just a progression.
Is it likely more 2 weeks now instead of?
It'll be what it'll be. Yeah, it literally. And from a coaching perspective, it's basically it's not in my control, and therefore I don't invest a heap of energy in looking into it, other than just to make sure that Erin's going okay. I know that she's working extremely hard. I know that she's somewhat frustrated by the constant speculation. So, but I understand why that is there, because obviously she's such an iconic figure in women's footy. So when she's back, it'll be exciting. We'll look forward to that. Until that time, we get on with the job.
Matty, she said on radio earlier in the week she thought she would be playing this weekend.
Yeah, that's her mentality. Yeah, she's from the day she's come back. She said, "I'll be ready. I'll be ready." Then she's very focused. She's very driven. But the reality is that it sits with the medical team now. So it's great that she wants to be back and be out there. And clearly we want her back and out. But the reality is that medical team signs it off, and then away we go.
So what boxes still to tick for her?
Yeah, so just her training load and her movement and some of the things that she needs to do in her preparation. It's not a small decision to make, and so therefore we take it very seriously, and there's no point rushing. The reality is I'm in no rush.
You won inside 50s pretty comprehensively last week. I mean, how much is the failure to capitalise on that maybe missing the likes of Erin and Chloe?
Yeah, no, that was more to due credit to Brisbane. They got their numbers back and flooded into defence at the appropriate time, and then were clearly able to transition it out of there. So I don't think it had actually anything to do with our forward structure as such. It was probably more our midfielders' ability to recognise that it was wet conditions. So on a dry day, as they head back, we probably would go around them, but on a wet day, that wasn't an option because clearly the ball use going around was going to be challenging. So we just didn't redistribute our numbers quickly enough, so it didn't have anything, in my opinion, to do with forward structure.
Matty, you're obviously a very busy man. You've got the women's team, but then you're also doing the ruck stuff with the men.
Yeah.
How's the development of Riley going and the ruck stocks in general?
Yeah, no, I think really importantly, obviously Riley had a breakout season last year, and he's looked to build and develop on that again. But obviously with Sam and Josh heading interstate, the next layer is probably the exciting piece for us. So Billy Frampton's come in and starting to have an impact. Kieran Strawn's actually a young guy who came into our program last year, and he's getting genuine ruck minutes, and he's really developing quickly. So, yep, Riley's season last year obviously gives him the lead in, but the other guys are pressing hard, so that puts our squad in a healthy position. And the reality is kind of what's happening across the board for the group. A lot of young guys are looking at that opportunity and stepping up and trying to take it.
You sort of answered my next question. I was going to say, how is that depth coming through? But it sounds like those guys are getting to a point where you're confident if Riley, for whatever reason, did go down, they could step up.
In truth, I said for probably 2 years that because everyone would ask me the same question about Sam Jacobs, and I'd say Riley O'Brien's training really well, and when he gets his opportunity, he'll make his mark, and that proved to be the case. These guys are probably at a slightly different stage of their development, but Billy's been in the system for a number of years, and Kieran's moving on really quickly. So once again, often young players need opportunity, and they can't. You can't play brilliantly on a Saturday if you're not on the park. So. Touch wood, that situation doesn't arise, but if it does, then they'll take that opportunity.
And Elliot could do a bit of work.
Yeah, and obviously last year we saw Elliot, predominantly forward, but then with that pinch hit ruck ability. And in the SANFL finals last year, he played as one out ruck against Port Adelaide from memory, and held up pretty well.
You've been impressed with Billy, seeing him close?
Yeah, no, I'm really happy with it. And obviously his work ethic, and he's trying to improve himself as quickly as possible. But he's also just integrated into the team really well. He's a good personality to have around the group. I've really enjoyed working with him.
And Strawn, you touched on him. Obviously, you rucked a bit in the sample.
Yeah. So only towards the back end.
Yes.
So one of the challenge points of AFL lists playing in the SANFL is that you often end up with almost one too many ruckmen. So Kieran spent the first half of the year as a forward. Unfortunately, he's got some forward craft, so that was good. But in the back end of the season, he was able to play probably 6 games where he had significant ruck minutes, and he'll definitely get more opportunity this year.
Just on St Kilda, the challenge of them, how do you rate the Saints?
Yeah, no, well, they were a bit like us last week, so they got jumped out of the blocks. The Bulldogs kicked 5 early, and then from then on, it was an even game. They probably, I'm sure they reflect on that and say, we just were a little bit slow to get going, but then their back 3 quarters were really strong. What they do, just watching some tape, is that they defend collectively, so they move really well in defence, and they've got some talent, they've got some speed, some genuine outside runs. So it's going to be a good game. It's a big deck at Richmond, so it should be an open and free-flowing game. And I didn't see any thunderclouds coming, so this week should be dry. Obviously, we'd love for people to get out there and get around the team. I think it's a 4:40 start, and they're unfurling flags and all sorts of things. It'll be an interesting day.
So how important to put on a big show, given it's such a big day for the club with the unfurling of the flag, etc.?
Yeah, so obviously, there's we always want to play well for our fans and our supporters, but the reality is we've started the conversation is that AFLW, an 8-game season, you've got to get going. You can't be messing around, so it's an important day for us.